Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two silver rums, clear rums, white rums, and we're going to do a taste challenge. Here is the beautiful Don Q Cristal from Destilería Serrallés. This was introduced in 1978. You can see the bottle is embossed. It's glass. This is the new label. It's been out about a year. Fancy pants looking. From Puerto Rico. All right, Puerto Rico. This company was established in that country in 1865. All right. I got a great deal on this at Dorgnac's food store in Metairie, Louisiana. Not New Orleans. It's about a quarter mile west of the city limits of New Orleans, but it's might be a half a mile, but I don't think it's that far. I mean, you can walk to New Orleans from Dorgnac's in a very short amount of time. 40% alcohol, and it's aged between 1.5 and 5 years. So it's a blend of different rums. The youngest rum in the blend is 1.5 years old, and the oldest is 5. And it's one of the official rums of Puerto Rico. Trade Association. If this had been an English colony instead of part of Spain, right, the island would have been called Richport. So Richport in English and Puerto Rico in Spanish. All right. Okay. And San Juan would have been, the capital city would have been St. John. Here is Clubhouse premium quality rum, bottled by Kentucky Standard Distillers, Bardstown, Kentucky. Well, Kentucky Standard Distillers, and this is pretty standard looking, isn't it? Basic. It looks like a food service product. You know what I mean? Like you get it from Autocrat Foods that they deliver to like maybe a nursing home or a school or university. But that's all right, because that's basically what it is. But it is a retail item, but it's really Heaven Hill. It's one of their alias names, Heaven Hill Distilling. You can look on their website under product specifications, and they have it listed. But I say there's no website listing in the sense that when you look on Heaven Hill's website and they show their portfolio, they don't mention this. In fact, they don't mention most of what they make. They just showcase the products they want you to get, like Admiral Nelson rum. Yeah, the whole line is there. There's a link to its own website, Admiral Nelson, and all of that. But they make so many dozens of just, you could say basic or maybe regional products. They might be popular in some parts of the country, but unknown everywhere else. Sort of like Very Old Barton. Go to Kentucky, Very Old Barton bourbon is it's very popular. And I did find some in Mississippi, actually on the Gulf Coast, in Pascagoula, sorry, the town of Pascagoula, Mississippi. But I've never seen VOB in Louisiana. But this is a retail item, and I bought this at super discount store in Chalmette, Louisiana, on Louisiana Highway 47 northbound. It was $6.99 for a liter 4 years ago, and you can still get it for $6.99 a liter if you look around. I think they got that price at International Market in Metairie, Louisiana, and at Discount Depot in Marrero, Louisiana. So this product is around, and that's sold in my parish, which doesn't mean much because where I live is only like, 25,000 people. So there's not the population to support all these different brands. If you go to Marrero, it's got about the same amount of people, 25,000, but it's got Harvey to the east, another probably 25,000 people. You know, Westwego to the west with about 8,000 people. Gretna further east than Harvey with about 40,000, and New Orleans. So, you know, it's a much bigger metropolitan area. They have people coming in from outside of Marrero, and not to mention it's on a major United States highway, 90 business route, the West Bank Expressway. Basically, like it is an interstate highway, but not part of the, you know, the modern one. But it is really. But so there's much more support to have all these different brands. Could I stay busy in this? Could I stay busy with video reviews with just what I can find in this parish? I could. And I would never run out. Okay, so I can't really use that as an excuse because I could never run out of liquor brands, and I'd never run out of beer brands. Okay, so that is doable, but it's fun to go to different towns shopping and what. Like I was on a road trip and I did some shopping, so you know it's fun. It's not necessary, but it's fun. Okay, both clear. We'll notice that the Don Q has a little yellow tint to it, but it's very faint, but it exists. Probably due to the aging. Now, this Clubhouse, it doesn't say anywhere on the bottle that it is, and I could never find a trademark, could get no trademark information on this. If it's even trademarked, you know what I mean? Like, we find out sometimes that things are not trademarked. The company might not bother doing it, figure no one else is going to try to use it. Clubhouse, or you know what I mean? So I really don't know the answer. I know there was a girl rock band, pop group, really singing group in the 1960s, and they were managed by a major record company. You know what I mean? They were on a major record label, the Shangri-Las, but their management never bothered to trademark their name. But then later on in the 1980s, some group was going around singing, calling themselves the Shangri-Las, because they found out they had a shady kind of manager, and he found out the name was not trademarked. So he hurried up and got the trademark and was, you know, and the band was very angry, and they were like, that's fake. It's a fake group. He said, well, you know, you didn't trademark the name. Okay, so anyway, we've got aquamarine, white, and gold trim. So aquamarine, and then there's white and gold trim. But nowhere does it say imported or made in the Caribbean or anything like that. It just says rum. And they do make rum in Kentucky. Glenmore in Owensboro, Kentucky, does a huge amount of rum distillation these days, distilling. Ever since they renovated and basically rebuilt their distillery. From the videos I saw, from the ground up, it was so dilapidated, and they just distill rum right there in Kentucky. And there would be no reason, I guess, that they wouldn't do that there in Bardstown, Kentucky. They certainly distill and produce rum in Louisiana. Bayou Rum, there's a rum company in New Orleans. I tasted it when we were down there in New Orleans last month. It was good. So, you know, got sugar, got water, you got yeast, you can make rum. Rum is not one of those products that has to be made in a certain area of the world. It's like whiskey, can be made anywhere. Certain products, cognac, champagne, bourbon, tequila, mezcal, must be made in the country, a particular country or region of a country in the world. Okay. So these are running about the same price, interestingly, because I got the great deal on Don Q, $12.99 for the handle bottle. $12.99. That's an unusually low price. It's really $19.99, and that's if you're lucky. So they're not really the same price. I happen to get them for the same price because of stumbling across this deal. And I went and bought the gold also. But in reality, the Don Q is going to be about $7, $8 more per liter. Okay, if you get liter bottles. So it's a premium product, and the Clubhouse is a cut rate budget brand, which in our minds we think is going to be terrible, but in reality they're usually not terrible at all. And maybe that's something that distillers prefer you didn't know, because they would rather sell the cheap cut rate products to the bars and grills and restaurants and taverns and wedding banquet halls and such as that, and country clubs, so that when you order cocktails, they can use the cheap stuff and you don't ask questions and you pay an exorbitantly high amount, and their profit margin is almost 100% because you're not paying a lot for the bourbon, the whiskey, the rum, and the gin and whatever. But if the consumers knew that the quality level of most of these, as people call them, cheapos, is much better than expected, especially with the economy like it is today, bad, terrible economy, they might gravitate more toward those than the liquor companies would. They would rather you buy the, store pick single barrel bourbons for $78. And I would rather you do that too if I owned a distillery. Okay. That's the Don Q. I can tell you that on Aroma only. And why do I say that? I'll explain it. There's not a whole lot of aroma here with this one. It's not a bad aroma. There is almost a lack of it, but there's a little pungency from yeast or whatever. But that's it. There's no wood, no barrel. I don't even know if it's aged in wood. The Dixie Baseman says, "Good morning, Ron. Careful exposing that branding trick. They may sue you." Oh, you mean yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. They want you to buy the high end, and clean my glasses. Yeah, well, I mean, they don't want you. Common sense. They would prefer if you didn't buy these. They would rather if, like I said, the restaurants and bars bought these, not the Don Q. That's a premium store retail brand. But they would rather people not buy the ones I just talked about. Because if they do try them, they might stick with them. Okay. There's a lot more. Now, this one has a lot more full nose. The wood, even charcoal, but they just filter it through the charcoal, and it's got the aging, the wood, it's more developed, let's call it. So this is the Don Q. Yep, got it. Aroma only. And I've been getting it on Aroma only multiple times. So does the aging, the 1.5 to 5 years aging on Don Q make a difference? It makes a significant difference. If you're doing a taste challenge, just seeing, can I tell them apart blind? I think it makes a very big difference. I watch numerous taste challenges, beer, wine, and liquor, mostly beer and liquor, per week. Rarely do I see a blind taste challenge. I just see them pouring the products, looking at the labels and saying, oh, this is this and this is this. And then picking a winner. I like this one better. And they give their reasons. I think it's a very bad mistake that they're making, because you still have to ask the question, but how do you know which one is which in the sense of a blind setting? Because you're looking at the label, so you could be, and the person might say, well, I'm not biased. I'm not taking sides. And we understand that. And I believe that. But in the world of psychology, and I used to teach psychology for 14 years, there's a thing called unintentional bias. If we want to be a Freudian, use the Freudian approach of the subconscious mind or psychoanalysis. There is a theory, at least, these can't be proven, these theories, but there's a pretty good theory that there is an unconscious bias, that unconsciously you'll favor something and not realize it, which you do not want to do. And how do we avoid that? How do we eliminate that very seriously impactful variable or potentially seriously impactful variable. We eliminate it through a blind taste test, which can be done alone if you know the proper procedure. All right, now let's go with the taste to close it out. Okay, it's a basic rum. You get an alcohol flavor, just like alcohol, whether it's whiskey, gin, rum, brandy, etc. It's just the alcohol, 40%. It is not an unpleasant flavor or off-putting. It's just basic. You get a little wood. Honestly, there is a little wood coming in to play, oak. So I guess it is age maybe, but it might only be 6 weeks. Now, I'm not saying that to be cheeky or flip or sarcastic. I just think that's probably the aging is very minimal. Because you got to understand, if they're selling it for $6.99 a liter, their costs have to be low. And they are, because produced in Kentucky, so you don't have to worry about the import costs or the shipping from the islands and all. But they still have to bring in the sugar cane, because I don't think they grow it in Kentucky. And then they still have to process it like you do any other factory process. It is a factory process. Even craft beer is a factory process, because of even a microbrewery is a factory. There's more hands-on. But of course, the producers don't want to address it or be seen that way as a factory. But anyway, but this is, it's fine. Is it a sipper? Well, no. I mean, you could sip it, but there's not a whole lot of anything that would make you really want to sip it. It would be preferable, I think, to mix with whatever cocktail you want to make, which might be as basic as Delaware punch with some of this rum added, watching NASCAR or something, simple like that. But it's fine in that kind of, and could it be used to make more high level or developed or acceptable cocktails more than white rum and Delaware punch? Yeah, of course. But it's fine. But that's it. Quality house. I agree. There's some basic quality there, standard. Huh? Kentucky standard distillers, right? Yeah. So there it is. It makes sense. It all makes sense. Now the Destilería Serrallés Q white, silver. Cristal, sorry. Much more to it. Pungent, rich, fermented sugarcane, grass, wood barrel, oak. The aging, it's almost like a tunnel of flavor. Like there's a depth. That's what you get with these, a depth of flavor. It's not that with the basic products like the Clubhouse, you get no flavor or a bad flavor. You just don't get any depth of flavor. It's only a surface experience. But here, there's a depth. It's like the Johnny Walker Blue Label whiskey. The actual flavor might not be much better or any better than the other whiskeys. You say, well, it's kind of like the same. True, but that's only at the initial taste. If you keep tasting it, then you'll notice there's a depth of flavor. It's like a tunnel of flavor, which is almost impossible to describe if you've never experienced that. And you're not going to experience that unless you, pay that kind of money. Although in this case, I didn't pay a lot, and I still have that experience. Good morning, mate. About to crack a brew. Says Dibble Dingle. Okay. Good morning to you. Okay. So the Don Q is the winner. I prefer it. The video is exactly as expected. I thought it would win, and it did win. Did I think it was going to be much of a contest? No, I did not. Am I disappointed? No, I'm not disappointed, because it's what I assumed it would be. So would I recommend Clubhouse? Well, I would recommend it if you just want to say, well, I tried it and I got it for $6.99 a liter. In that sense, yeah, I'd recommend it. If it was any more than that, $6 or $7, $7 or $8 a liter, and no, I wouldn't buy it. And if it's any other reason besides just checking it off your I tried it list, I mean, why bother? But it's there, it exists, and I can't say anything negative about it, honestly. But I can't say a whole lot positive about it. It's just there. It, like I said, if that, depending on what they are going, I'm sorry, I'm reading this wrong. Depending on what they are aging them in, from what I've been, it could merely be half that time on some of these products. With Clubhouse, some of these you'd be lucky if they're aged at all. And you can tell that it's minimal. Don Q, absolutely recommend it. And in fact, if you have any kind of interest in rum tasting and all of this, you got to buy it. It's really one you got to try it. It'd be like saying, "Oh, I'm going to do all the tequilas," but you never did Jose Cuervo. And I would say, "Well, why you never did Jose Cuervo?" "Well, I heard some negative things about it." "Oh, you did?" But you never tried it. And it's the most popular tequila in the world. Even if it's not that great, okay, you wouldn't be doing a true survey of all the tequilas if you didn't try Cuervo Gold or the Light Especial. So, like Budweiser, if you're going to review beer, got to do Budweiser. It's just, you got to do it. Like test driving different cars, because you're a professional car reviewer. You're going to do Chevrolet. Whether you like it or not, you're going to do it. Agreed on the I don't know what that aging process is, but anyway, Don Q wins again, has won most of these challenges, and I would assume it's going to win the next one. Next one coming up. Now we're gravitating toward, well, let me check real fast. We're going into the world. Yeah, we're going to close out the series in the world of Sazerac, and I saved Sazerac for last because I got so many of their products. We got Albertsons rum. This is produced for Albertsons by Sazerac. Okay, Albertsons does not have their own distillery. Silver rum from the United States Virgin Islands. Probably produced by Cruzan. There's only two big distilleries down there. There's Captain Morgan, who could be doing it. I'm not saying they aren't, but I don't think Diageo, I don't know. Maybe they do it. I don't know if they're doing that much contract distilling, but the other big distillery is Cruzan, and they probably are making this for Sazerac, who bottles it for, Albertsons. I thought this was discontinued, but it isn't. They still got fresh bottles at Albertsons. So, and this was introduced in 1939. And it's saying Albertsons and the Albertson logo are owned by Super Value or its subsidiaries. You've seen the actual Super Value stores, but Albertsons is probably the biggest part of their chain. Anyhow, thanks for watching. And the Albertson Silver Rum, yeah, it's good. It's a whole lot like the other silver rums. But anyway, thanks for watching, and see y'all next time.